This is Kathleen at My Alabama Farm Life, and this is part 3 of my Hawaii vacation. This part of my vacation and the last part I spent in Lanai Island in Hawaii. Up until 1992, the island was known as Pineapple Island. It was owned by Dole Foods, and they grew primarily pineapples on the island. In the 1860s, Mormons created a colony on the interior of the island, and they raised sheep here. The island has a huge variety of animals, but the thing that I saw the most were the turkeys. They were everywhere. The road that we're traveling on is called Lanai Road, and this goes from the harbor, the small boat harbor, all the way into Lanai City. My daughter lives in Lanai City in an apartment, and her bedroom window looks out over the Lanai Ranch. There is nothing better than watching these beautiful animals living their best life in paradise. The sun was shining and it was warm when we left the coast, but by the time we got to Lanai City, it was raining and drizzly. However, the next 2 days were sunshining and beautiful. Now, Lanai City is pretty small. It only has a population of about 3,000 people. Lanai City has one gas station, one grocery store, and one coffee shop. But there are several places that you can eat and several stores that you can shop at. The houses are all in very good shape. Unfortunately, there's not enough houses for the people to move to Lanai. There's nothing to buy and very little to rent. This green building that we're fixing to pass, this was actually part of the Dole property, and this is where they brought all the pineapples and where they were processed before they were shipped out. Another cool thing about Lanai is that there are no traffic lights in the city or on the entire island. It's a small island, but it is pretty hard to get around. They do not have public transportation, but they do have rentals. One of the things that I had wished I'd done while I was there was secured a rental vehicle. You can either get a Tesla or you can get a four-wheel drive Jeep. I really wished we would have gotten that four-wheel drive Jeep. We could have gone all over the island, but a regular two-wheel and sometimes even the all-wheel drive vehicles have a really hard time navigating some of the dirt roads that are here on the island. And you have to go down those dirt roads to get to some of the cool places that Lanai boasts. Currently, the island's economy is based on tourism, and a lot of it surrounds the 2 hotels of the Four Seasons. The first one is going to be the Oceanside Four Seasons at Mandalay Bay, and then there's going to be the second one that is actually in Lanai City, and it is the Four Seasons Sensei. I had actually looked into staying at the Sensei for at least 1, if not 2 nights. It is supposed to be an absolutely beautiful hotel. They have trails and a beautiful garden that is full of contemporary art. And I really wanted to see some of the beautiful things that they had there. But you either have to be invited or you have to be a guest. And since we went to the Four Seasons in Maui, I decided that I could probably maybe do this another time. These are 2 little birds that I saw in front of the grocery store, and I still have not identified them yet. So if you know what they are, please tell me in the comments. We are now traveling north on Keomuku Highway, and again we ran into a bunch of turkeys. Lanai City is about 1,600 feet above sea level, and we are currently heading north, and then we're going to go to the east. To the east side of the island, we're headed down towards the ocean. We are headed toward Keomuku Beach. And please excuse my pronunciations. I do really well with Spanish and other language, but the Hawaiian language, I just could not get the accents and the dialect, so it just sounds awful. So that is Maui off in the distance. We are actually going to be on the east side of the island. We're actually headed towards Shipwreck Beach, and if we were to go north, we would go towards the shipwreck, but we're going to be going south and going to the beach area. The entire Hawaiian island chain was created from volcanoes, but Lanai was created about 1.5 million years ago by the volcano Palawai. And like some of the landscapes that we saw in Maui, we see a lot of the same thing here in Lanai. Some parts of the island are absolutely lush and beautiful, and then some of the island is very dry and red. In fact, one of the places that I wanted to go to, but we could not, was the Garden of the Gods. The roads are just too rough. But the Hawaiian legend says that the formations were created by gods who had dropped rocks from the sky while tending their gardens. It is said that it looks like Mars. It was also thought that Lanai was uninhabited for a long time. Many of the residents of Maui thought that the island was evil. The island was thought to be inhabited by man-eating spirits, and no one went to the island until the 1500s. The legend is that a prince was banished to the island, and because he was brave and survived the spirits, he was actually given the island to inhabit and to repopulate. It was a very long but pretty ride down to the ocean, and we finally made it to the beach. My daughter had her dog Tank with her, and we started walking to find a spot to where we could hang out and maybe she could throw her surfboard into the water. Unfortunately, we didn't get to hang around for very long.
You're just getting out of the current.
Could be. We believe we stumbled across a Hawaiian Monk Seal, and they are highly protected and endangered. So I did not get any closer than I dared. I just got as much video as I could possibly get and really tightened that camera lens in. But yeah, we weren't going to mess with it. They're very large, unpredictable animals. And of course, we had a dog with us, and we didn't want him to get anywhere near the seal. We did not want him to get hurt. I was very thankful to have had the sighting. And on our way back, we stopped over a ridge. It looks down over the southern part of the island, and this is where all the pineapple fields used to be. It was a lovely view of the southern part of the island. So we headed back, and as you go in, you go back through what is the ranch for Lanai. I guess it's Ranch Lanai. They have a lot of horses here. At first I thought there was cows, but there's no cows on the island that I'm aware of, just a lot of horses. My daughter is not real sure what they're doing on this part of the road. She said they have cleared out all the trees and bushes. She said this used to be a pretty lush little area, but it's now all cleared out, and you can see where they're putting in utilities. Sensei also has their tennis courts over here, and she says it looks like they are refurbishing them also. The next morning we were up early and we went to Hulopoe Beach. In the corner there is Four Seasons Lanai. My only regret is that I could not stay longer and spend more time with my daughter. I really do miss her. And I did enjoy going to Maui and to Lanai and seeing all the things that I've never seen before. And I got to do it with my daughter. So I got all my stuff together and I packed my bags, and it was time for us to leave. I did see some deer that were on the island. 3 large ones crossed the street while we were taking a roommate to work one morning, and I didn't get a chance to get it on video. But as we were driving to the airport, I was finally able to capture one on my camera. Now this is an axis deer, and apparently they are all over the island. In fact, in the mornings and in the late evenings, you have to be very careful because they like to run out in front of your cars. I thought these were going to be small deer, but they're not. They're actually pretty large. In fact, I would say that they're probably a little bit bigger than the Alabama deer that we have here, and we saw hunters all over the island. So I finally made it to their small regional airport, and I caught my island hopper airplane, and it was an experience. The wind was blowing pretty hard. In fact, we thought that they were going to cancel our trip. Thankfully, they did not. The entire trip back home was very interesting. That little island hopper, it was an 8-seater, and it was bouncing around all over the place. And I wasn't sure if that was normal or not, so I just went with it. We landed safely. I made it to the airport on Maui, only to have my flight canceled. Thankfully, Delta rerouted me very quickly, and I only had a 3-hour layover. And instead of going through LAX, I went through Seattle. So I flew out about 11 o'clock p.m. to Seattle, arrived in Seattle early in the morning. And the weird thing is that the plane that I arrived on was also the plane that I got back on and took to Orlando. I spent a day with my daughter in Orlando and then drove back home. I had a bit of jet lag, but basically I got home and got right back into working. In fact, we did a lot this morning, and I'm sitting here drinking my water and eating a little snack, and then I need to get back out there. I'm going to do some weed eating here in a little bit if it doesn't rain. It looks like it might rain, but that would be really nice. It'll be nice and cool while I'm out there working in the sun. So guys, I had a really, really great vacation. I really enjoyed myself. I really want to go back and do that again. But then I'll have a better idea of all the things that I want to do and get a 4-wheel drive, especially if I go back to Lanai. If I were to choose another island to go to, it would be, I think it's Oahu, the big island, and that's where the volcano is. I would love to take my daughter and go to that island and just explore everything we can. Another thing that I noticed that while I was there in Hawaii is that you can catch a plane and you can go to Japan, Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines. It's just another 5, 6, 7 hour flight, and they're really not too expensive. So if I were to go to Hawaii again, I think I would take advantage of the fact that we are so close to those other countries, and I may just go. If I can get my daughter to go with me, great, but it wouldn't be the first time I've ever traveled by myself. So I'm going to add those to my bucket list, and if it works out, it works out. If not, there's still plenty to see here in the United States, Canada, and in South America. So goodness, guys, we will see. I've forgotten how much I enjoyed traveling. So I'm going to go ahead and call this the end of the video. It's already pretty long as it is. I want to thank everybody for going with me on my vacation, and yeah, thank you very much, you guys. Have a blessed and joyous day, and I'll see you on my next video.